Yes, I'm Shifali. Thank you for the intro, and I'm speaking from Australia. And today I'll be talking to you about sleep disorder diagnosis in kids using AI. So before I start, I want you to answer how many of you have kids? Raise your hand. So imagine a parent of 5-year-old whose child isn't sleeping at night. They are sleepless, they are breathless sometimes, and the parent goes to a GP and GP has asked them to undergo a sleep study. But when the parent goes to a hospital, they have been asked to wait for 2 years before they can get onboarded in the hospital, before they can actually get a bed where they can conduct sleep study. Now, this isn't a first world problem, but this is exactly what's happening in countries like Australia, United States, Europe, and in different parts of the world. And this is exactly what we are trying to end. So we are trying to end the 2-year wait period for children's sleep diagnosis through AI-powered automation. But this isn't just about efficiency. Like this isn't just about ending the 2-year wait period. It's about providing the right treatment to the right child at the right time. So, why is there a 2-year wait period in the hospital? Because of n number of reasons. The first reason is severe workforce shortage. So, the trained technicians in the hospitals, they take a very long time to do analysis, and the hospital capacity is are maxed out. So, just to give you an example of Queensland Children's Hospital in here in Brisbane, Australia, they've got like 6 beds in the hospital, and which leads to only 1,000 studies per year, which is a small, tiny number. If you look at the overall figure or the number of cases Australia receives on a yearly basis, it's like 45,000 cases. 1,000 studies is nothing. 40% of this waiting list are normally diagnosed normal, which means this 40% of the waiting list could have been triaged from hospital PhD to a home PhD system where they could have done the studies themselves and gotten in touch with the doctor. So that's what we are trying to introduce. We are trying to introduce a home PhD study where the studies can be conducted at home and then it goes in the cloud. And then the doctor have an access of the reports, and everything becomes so much more faster and efficient. Now, if you look in the US market, there is no FDA approved clear pediatric platform which exists in current date. There are platforms for adult space, but there is none for kids space. So there's a critical gap in the validated regulatory approved automation for children's diagnostic. If you look in Australia, in October 2025, which was just like few months ago, there was a reimbursement approval from Medicare, which is a government entity through which you get rebates. There was a news that home PhD studies will be eligible for Medicare rebates. So government is also trying to push in this direction now in Australian market. So this is our solution. We are trying to substantially improve the pediatric at-home PhD by automation. The way it works is we integrate multiple signals like ECG, EEG, respiratory, oximetry. So we are not just a wellness monitoring platform. So if you have kids, you will know there are certain baby monitors which you put, the cameras which you put, in the child's room, so you can just track the activity. It is not a baby monitor platform. It is gold standard platform which matches human expertise. So it's clinical grade platform and gold standard. It enables at-home PhD, home studies, so kids can or parents can actually triage from the hospital system and reduce the load on the hospitals too. Now, the platform, how do we know it works? The platform has been trained and validated on 3,549 retrospective data, and this is the largest pediatric data set globally. It has been reviewed by QCH, which is Queensland Children's Hospital sleep physicians, and we have received a sensitivity of 83%, which means 4 out of 5 children diagnosed correctly using our platform, and we received an accuracy of 0.87, which meets or exceeds the clinical threshold for diagnostic AI. Now, if you look at the size of the market, US alone received 150,000 pediatric cases last year, and we are planning to charge around $400 to $500 per study, which means if we have 5 to 10 hospitals in the US market, we'll be probably making approximately $5 million in annual revenue. So, why the hospitals will be inclined to use our platform? Because it's going to save them tons of money. Right now, a technician comes on board, they will do manual annotation, which takes them, few days just to do one overnight study analysis. So, which our platform can do within minutes. So, every hospital per study, they will be saving around $500 to $900. So, it's like a win-win for hospital, for parents, for kids, for everyone. So this is our financial projections, and we have everything in the data room. But in the year one, we are now getting into the clinical trial phase, and then regulatory approval, submission preparation phase. We'll be getting into as soon as we raise funds. We are currently raising fund. It's going to set us foundation for Series A, which is going to be a $3 million raise. And then we'll be heading to FDA and TG approval, commercial launch. And by year 5 or 6, we'll break even and probably will exit by year 6 as well. There are some competition in the space, but there is none in the gold standard clinical grade space for kids. I'm trying to rush. This is our team. We have got a couple of active collaboration. One is, of course, with Queensland Children's Hospital, and second is with Compumedics. So we are actually working. We don't know if we are going to get through, but it's one of the biggest hardware platform. So we are having a chat with them to get them on board, and we'll see how we go. The IP is owned by us, and we have the commercialization rights. We are now raising $1 million US dollars, and we have got a couple of investors already interested in the project, including lead investors. So if any investor out there in this in this conference, please reach out to me. And what is this going to unlock? Clinical evidence. So we'll be running clinical trial with your money. We'll be navigating the regulatory pathway, and the product will be validated in the real world. And this is going to set the foundation for Series A, which is going to be $3 million raise, probably in a year time. Now, probably will get acquired by one of the big hardware companies like Compumedics or Philips Healthcare, or we don't know how the collaboration is going to roll. But companies have exited at very high values in the space, like $116 million or $500 million, depending on which markets they have been into. So for us, probably by year 6, we'll be exiting, and our valuation will be around $100 to $300 million. And in order to get there, the value inflection point is completion of clinical trial, regulatory validation, that is TGA or FDA, and maybe getting our first 10 hospitals on board and getting an annual recurring revenue of $5 million. Thank you.